Hey, what's happening, folks? It is Wednesday, and it's been a wild and wacky day so far. Been on a couple of live shows, one of which I participated in for 3 hours, which was Danny. And hopefully he will be joining us soon. Dangerfields, hello. Mike, hello. Looks like Obsidian, hello. Dark Wolf, hello, welcome back. Anthony, GI Robot, came and went. Maria, hello. What's up, folks? Just remember, tap away on the screen. This is how the algorithm functions on likes, and likes function on tapping the screen. If you haven't done so already, daily heart me. That's the most important thing, according to what I've read about the algorithm. If you are not following me, you can find the daily heart me in the gifts section. You click on gifts, click on heart me, you get points and all that stuff for doing that. Thank you, Danny. Good to see you. Danny leading by example as always, doing the daily heart me first. Thank you, Obsidian. I appreciate that you love my live. That's good stuff. Oh, and Danny sent a celebration cake. Nice. I love it. Love it. So as always, I'm sweating because I just ate something hot. And even though I finished eating that thing a half hour ago, I'm still sweating. I think it's safe to say I am fat. So, as I was saying earlier, today has been an unfortunate day in America. An unfortunate event that just shows what America's about. And I learned something about myself today as I was on Danny's live and we were talking about the day's events and the fact that they were sad. I thought about what happened when I heard the news this afternoon when I woke up. And I'm going to talk about that. That's related to my title. For those of you who cannot see, over my head are the words comfortably numb. Let's see. What happened? Come on. Here we go. To open this document, why? That don't make no sense. Huh. Wonder what's going on there. Trying to open a document on my phone from my Google Drive, and Google is not cooperating. So let's take a look. See what we can. Oh, technical issues. To borrow from Bartleby the Scrivener and embellish. Technology. Humanity. Okay. So let's see. Let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens when I refresh on my phone. Still telling me I can't open it. What happens if I save a copy of it? I've actually never had this issue before. This is very interesting. Make copy, share, email, download. Let's save it. So make a copy. Let's see. And I'll make a copy. Oops. Share with the same people. Da-da-da. Make a copy. Does the copy work? That's a copy of. Yeah, that worked. Look at that. I refuse to let the machines win. Oh, I love solving tech problems. It's one of the goofiest things about me. Okay, so folks, for whatever reason, we are moving very, very slowly on the taps. I don't focus too much about the likes, but I know how important it is to the platform. So while you're listening, please tap away so that I will get noticed. Let me see. All right, that works. Okay. All right, I think we are good. We're ready to go. Oh, AC got his main account back. That's excellent. That is excellent news. Good, good, good. And I followed him on the other video platform, so that's excellent. Cherry, thank you for the good news. All right. So we've got a few people in here. We're at 1,000 likes, so that puts us on the board. Let's get started. So, as some of you might recognize the two words above my head, comfortably numb, as the name of a Pink Floyd song. And I'm going to lay out my opening and then start inviting people up. This might take a few minutes, hopefully not too long, and hopefully I'll make it interesting enough to warrant your attention. So, this is, I think, the last verse of the song. When I was a child, I caught a fleeting glimpse out of the corner of my eye. I turned to look, but it was gone. I cannot put my finger on it now. The child is grown. The dream is gone. I've become comfortably numb. And when I looked that up, I immediately thought of the film Schindler's List. Of course, we could spend the next 5 days talking about Schindler's List. There was a lot that affected me. There were some things that traumatized me. Some of those things were temporary. Some of those things have stayed with me. One of the things that stayed with me was this scene. It was Ben Kingsley playing a prisoner in a camp during World War II, and a commandant from the German military, played by Ralph Fiennes, and he was playing a real-life character. The character he was playing was Commandant Amin Gyoth. There's 2 dots over the I. I believe they call that an umlaut, and I believe that's how it's pronounced. Hello, Cynthia from Texas. Thank you for being here. So in this scene, Ben Kingsley's character is trying to convince Ralph Fiennes' character basically to stop using the other prisoners in the camp as target practice from his elevated apartment. I don't know how many floors, maybe 2 or 3 floors up. Gyoth was in a position to oversee most of the camp. And for fun, he used to practice his sniper art on live human beings and perish them from the earth. After Kingsley did a very soft pedal. He had to be very, very careful in how he approached this because he knew that this guy had the power and the wherewithal to perish him from the earth. So he spoke very gingerly, very diplomatically, and just tried to plant an idea in this guy's head. He did a very clever argument, which was making the guy want to live up to a benevolent leader. And that is a psychological ploy, and it does work very often, but it was the smartest ploy that he could imagine at the time, and I can't disagree with his strategy. Makes perfect sense to deal with a dangerous situation and a dangerous person in that way. As Kingsley left the building and started walking, people to his left and right started dropping because Gyoth was at his window holding his weapon and using the prisoners for target practice. And obviously that whole scene is just very jarring. But the thing that jarred me the most, which is what I'm going to talk about with regard to today's news, is that Kingsley had to pretend that everything was okay and keep walking as if what he was seeing, the carnage around him, wasn't happening. And that was heartbreaking for me to understand that people had to live like that, that anyone in history has ever had to live like that, because unfortunately, what Schindler's List was depicting was not nearly the only time that it's happened. In fact, since World War II, we are now up to about 27 or 28 mass events like that. We're witnessing one right now in the Middle East, and that's all I'll say about it. So what does this all mean? Why did I illustrate all these things? Why did I read the lyrics from a Pink Floyd song? It's because when I woke up and I grabbed my phone, as seems to be the new way of life for me, and I saw the story about what happened in Minnesota today, I understood that it was wrong, that it was awful, that it was tragic, that every aspect of it was terrible. I realized what another black stain on America's heart this is, and how unfortunate it is that America basically is ensuring that this will continue to happen. But the thing that I didn't realize until I got on Danny's Live and started talking about it was that I didn't feel really bad when I read the news. I knew it was bad. I knew it was terrible. Children. It doesn't get much worse than that. I think the only crime worse than perishing a child is abusing that child. And I didn't feel anything. And I realized I have numbed myself out to this horrible reality. Because I just, there's only so much cortisol that the human system can take. There's only so much reacting to terrible things. And I'm not trying to excuse my behavior in any way, shape, or form, or even justify it. I just wanted to be honest about it. This is what happens in a country where this is essentially a daily occurrence. Last year, there were more of these events than there were days in the year. And thankfully, since one of my goals in personal development is to always monitor myself, I realized it and examined it and wanted to present it here today. So that's my opening thoughts. I'm bringing Danny in. Anyone else who wishes to come up, hopefully you'll see either a square with the word request up, and if you don't, right next to the comment box is an outline of a blue person and an outline of a red person overlapping. You can touch on that and request to come up. Danny, my friend, my older brother from another mother, how are you?
Well, I'm happy that you continuing the conversation because it was a terrible event today.
Yeah.
And what was really depressing to me about today and appalling to me was that every person that I brought up on my panel today of the MAGA sort, because most uh, like-minded people like yourself and I, um, we tried to answer the question honestly, but the MAGA ones did not want to answer the question is your 2A more important than children's lives? And none of them could give us a direct answer, yes or no. Couldn't. Not a one.
Which of course we can infer if we choose to that the answer is no. Children are not more important than their 2A rights. Because that
That's
to
what I
me
got out of it.
is a layup. That's an easy question to answer, you know,
Absolutely. And that's what I took from the conversation today is that they would rather have children unaliving with weapons than to give up their rights to that specific type of weapon.
yeah.
Period.
Yeah, and it's at a certain point
I'd rather see dead kids.
I have decided, I have just understood that there's 36 million people roaming America right now who we have lost. They're not part of society. Their only interest is in being part of the cult and doing whatever Daddy Donnie says and believing anything Daddy Donnie says and intolerant of any criticisms about Dump. Just they're gone. They're gone. We're not getting them back. If you say that, yeah, if Dump was convicted of being a PDF file, I would still support him. If you can honestly say that, you're not part of the team anymore. You're not someone that we need in this society. You are a perfect reflection of a part of this society, but it's the worst part of American society, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And one of the persons mentioned in the comment, they won't change until it happens to them. I don't think that'll change me, to be honest with you. I think
Who knows? Who knows? I mean, when you lack empathy, what I find amazing is that when some of these MAGA hats wind up feeling the effects of what they voted for, and it does have a negative effect on them, then they wonder why nobody gives a shit. They're like, oh, I thought Democrats were supposed to be tolerant and compassionate. It's like, no, we don't have to be tolerant and compassionate to people like you. Like if someone punches me in the face, is it my job to be tolerant or empathetic or sympathetic to the reasons that they did that? Or am I okay to defend myself and plant that dude in the ground? You know, I I believe it's the latter, and you're not going to get sympathy from me, or I don't think anybody else, if you were chanting mass deportation and holding up signs to that effect at the Republican National Convention and laughing and making videos saying go ICE and all this shit. And then suddenly it happens to you. Like the dude that owned the restaurant that sold dump burgers, and he happened to have been an immigrant, and he was a big Dump supporter, and he got caught in his own net because he was dumb enough to vote for his own deportation. Wild. And I'm supposed to give a fuck about that? I'm supposed to feel bad? Moderate says, why are you so angry? I guess you don't understand what words mean, Moderate. If you understood what words mean, you would have had the answer to the question already. And by the way, I'm not angry. I am being adamant right now. There is a difference, and I don't expect you to understand what that difference is.
I'd be curious if we brought him up, see if he could give us a direct answer on the question. I'd
Yeah.
be
Okay,
interested.
sure. Let's try. Oh, I can't bring Moderate up because it's a bullshit 0 followers. It's a burner account,
Oh, that's a burner
so
account. Yeah.
so I'm just gonna get rid of them. I don't need idiots like that. He says, I see anger in your eyes and hear anger in your voice. No, what you see and hear is passion. I know what I feel better than you do. Okay? I am passionate about what I'm saying because I'm orating publicly right now and I'm trying to make a point, but you're too stupid to understand that. I'll invite people up if I see that it's not a burner account, but I'm tired of these idiots with these burner accounts just because all they're here to do is disrupt and get the sad attention that they don't get at home because they have no friends, nobody loves them, nobody cares about them. They're blaming women and immigrants for all of their problems instead of blaming the people that have been ruining their lives for decades. Like I find it amazing to be a MAGA hat championing and extolling the virtue of the Republican Party, while decade after decade after decade, the people that they vote for have made them the poorest, the fattest, the sickest, the least educated, the least upwardly mobile people in America. And they keep saying, "Oh, liberals, Democrats, blah, blah, blah." They want to blame everybody except the people that are fucking them over. It's amazing. So let's see. We've got other people coming in. Hold on. Let me read some of the comments. SCG Man says, name calling don't solve problems. I bet you were chanting, okay, Brandon, or let's go, Brandon, right? I bet you were okay with that. Murphy, FDT, I agree. Mary Jones, Trump must go. Yep. And so it's so funny that these people want to make commentary on what they think my emotional state is. Murphy is asking, what does pew pew mean? Well, Murphy, if you're not smart enough to crack that code, you're not smart enough to be part of this live, so goodbye. Um, these people that are like, oh, you're getting angry, you're getting upset, oh, you're so emotional. It's like you people stormed the Capitol because you didn't get your way. Don't fucking talk to me about my emotional state, okay? I have emotions because I'm a human being, but I manage my emotions so that my behavior stays consistent with the type of human being I want to be, which is kind, loving, caring, and supportive. Well, when you people have emotions, you lose control and harm other people because you're childlike and you're imbeciles. So don't worry about what I feel. Look at your own behavior. Right, Mary Jones, good point. When you are a person of color, the MAGA says you are angry and dangerous. And by the way, that has a foundation in part of the ugly history of America. There was a time when, if you want to get rid of a man of color, any kind of minority, you would say, oh, that's an angry BLK man. And by calling him angry, then you were allowed to institutionalize that man. So that's a trope that was used to harm people. And I think it went through the 60s or early 70s, something like that. But that was a thing they did. And of course, that still remains. It's like, oh, so you could have a guy, a president of America, red-faced in public, screaming about go fight, 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 and stop the steal and all that stuff. You're not worried about his emotional makeup. You're not worried about the things he's saying and doing. But a brown face makes you nervous when I'm speaking about whatever is on my mind. Kind of funny, right? I've been around the block too many times for this shit. As the old saying goes, this ain't my first rodeo. Eddie's in the house. Hey, Eddie. Sky, thank you for the rose. And the comments are coming fast and furious. That's good. Ba-ba. Tribalism is what it's trying to imply. Perhaps. Right. Another thing that some men say. Now, me, I use the word hysterical to describe anybody that's acting nutty. But the word hysterectomy comes from removing a part of a woman's body. And there was a time where they, doctors, medical professionals felt that that part of a woman's body could make her crazy, which is like hysterectomy, hysterical, same root. And so, yes, there are some dinosaurs out there who still use it in that context. Like for me, there's, words don't necessarily have gender. Sometimes they have implications of gender, but like CUNT, I call men that. And I've called women that too. But to me, that's a word, especially in Britain, it does not connotate any specific gender. So, I'll use it if I want to. And same with hysterical. It's weird how some people also use it to depict something that's very funny, hysterical. Because when you're really laughing hard, it does seem like you're out of control and nutty. So laughing hysterically, right? But I have a fascination with words and their origins and goofy shit like that. But again, thank you to the 49 people in here. We're at 32 minutes, and I'm guessing you're forgetting to tap, so I'm going to ask again. Please tap that screen. We could easily, in the next half hour, we could easily be to 35, 40, 50,000 likes. All it takes is while you're listening, and I appreciate that you're listening, keep tapping the screen. And anyone who wants to come up, again, either tap on the requests box, or if you don't see the request box, right next to the comments, there's a red and blue icon that looks like the outline of a red person and the outline of a blue person overlapping. You can tap on that. Before you do, if you haven't shared out the like, please do that. Just hold your finger gently on the middle of the screen, either on my nose or on my giant forehead, and your friends list will pop up with the word send next to all of them. And you can just go, send it out to 40, 50 people in no time. But anyway, so let me bring it back to the topic. Danny, was there any part of that that you related to in terms of this is so prevalent in our society now that the reaction that I have has diminished over time? Do you relate to that at all?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Um, when you lose a parent or child or something like that due to illness or unexpected unaliving, there's a certain amount of numbness that hits automatically because you're in shock. And with that shock, it takes a while for it to come back around to where reality hits that, hey, I just lost somebody and stuff like that. And even though you never get comfortable with it, that numbness seems to never go away for a while. It just stays there. But the American people are so numb to what's happened and of all these school incidences that's happened since Columbine, since 1999, that it's just another day in the United States. They just look at it as another day. And that's where the comparability comes into effect. And I think that when I asked them that question about the 2A question and if the kids are more important, I don't know if they're so cruel and so empathetic that they don't want to give an honest answer, or they're stuck in this numbness of comfortability that they just don't want to answer it in an honest and genuine way. Make sense?
Absolutely. Um, what I find a lot, and this is not just MAGA hats, this can be anybody. I find that some people are so invested in being right that they will twist their logic and say absurd things just to be right. I mean, how many
Right.
times have you heard me debating a MAGA hat, which is like child's play to me? They don't have the capacity to debate me, but they try. And you'll hear that their arguments just fall apart right away because they've never thought about what they're saying, and they've never been challenged because maybe amongst their friends, their mouth breathing, knuckle dragging friends, they're the smart one, right? But then they meet someone like me who can run circles around them intellectually, and you'll see how they start hemming and hawing and, well, what about this and what about that and what about the other thing and what about and they just keep on making up shit in a desperate attempt to be right. And I think a sign of maturity, one of the many signs of maturity, is to be able to let that go. Forget about being right and just try to meet the moment, you know? And they can't do it. Most of the time, they can't do it because they're so childish. Their mentalities, it's like, and it doesn't matter what age they are. On your live earlier, we had people from their 20s to their 60s and just coming
Correct.
on and saying the dumbest shit, like, and it was all just like, let's ignore the facts, or like, you have this data set with 100 different points of data, and you look at the one point of data that supports your goofy logic, and it's like, don't bring that shit around me because I'll chew you to pieces. Like, when I read a study, I read the whole fucking thing, not just a summary, because I want to understand how they
Right.
got to the summary. And believe me, I know how tedious that can be. But if I'm really interested in something, I want to educate myself about it because ever since I was a child, I really hated someone beating me in a debate. I don't have that same inclination now, but that childhood desire to avoid humiliation or embarrassment or whatever wound up serving me well because it made me really make sure that anything that I present as an idea, even if it's not a smart idea, I've done my best to fortify the idea with facts and reasonable thinking and as much substance as possible because opinions are not all alike, folks. there are two types of opinions. There is an informed opinion and an uninformed opinion. And anybody can spew an uninformed opinion. I think the moon is made of cheese. Anybody can say that. But what's that informed by? It's the same reason why the idiot in chief could say something like, oh, it's just going to disappear in a couple months when the weather gets warm. That didn't come
Hmm.
from anything but his dumb, big, empty head. You know, the difference between dump and me is when I have a stupid thought, I don't fucking say it out of my mouth because I stop to think, hey, I think this might be stupid. I think I'll keep it to myself.
Right.
You know? Oh, how about, is there a way to inject bleach? Anybody? Anybody? All of the esteemed doctors on
Right.
the fucking panel want to give me some help on this? Like, holy shit. This is the guy with the nuclear codes. Like, we are doing it wrong, folks.
Yeah, or ultraviolet light. You know, if you just put your body underneath ultraviolet light
Sure.
for an hour, it's going to go away. That was another one of his pills.
Yeah.
But
Well,
did you notice
he
today?
actually suggested getting the ultraviolet light inside of you. And here's the
Inside.
thing:
Yep.
there are actual studies attempting to do this, right? And there were when he said those things, but he didn't understand the nuance and the details of those
Right.
studies. So he heard light inside. Okay, I'm ready. He
But
didn't
did you
read
notice?
light inside is an idea that we're working on and we're using this methodology to try to perfect the system, but we haven't actually gotten there yet.
But he has a concept of a plan to get that
Concept of a
done.
plan. You know, which is what a seventh grader would say when they didn't read the book that was assigned for a book report.
Yeah, the assignment. But did you notice today in the discussion with all these people on the panel, my panel, a lot of them wanted to pivot off the what we were talking about to set their narrative. They just automatically wanted to pivot every time those MAGA heads came up and we were discussing this. They would pivot to something else like, whoa, by the way, that shooter was trans. What in the hell does trans got to do with this shooter? Nothing, you know.
Yep.
The person was shot. That's like saying, well, the guy, at least the man wasn't black. Okay, he could have been, but he wasn't. But that what that got to do with whether you should have a pew pew or the children? Which one do you think more important? You know, they couldn't
Well,
answer it.
that was my first post of the day because the news clip that I saw insisted on mentioning that he was part of the rainbow community, and I'm like, why? What does his orientation have
Oh,
to do with this? And the fact that MAGA hats would run with this. Oh, he's one of them. It's like, okay, so you're going to ignore the other 1,000 people that did it that look exactly like you?
right.
Like you're just, you know, you're not gonna pay attention to the Timothy McVeighs of the world. Because why didn't
Yeah.
they build a wall around Oklahoma where Timothy McVeigh was? There was no wall to be built for that, huh? Because it's a Caucasian male, blonde hair, blue eyes, got those lovely Aryan looks. So you're okay with that? Oh, but find out someone feels like they were born the wrong gender, or someone feels like they want to be affectionate with someone of the same gender, and that you want to focus on? Fucking
Yeah.
childish, man. It's just dumb.
You got Uncle Tom down there in the chat there. Haba. All honorable black veterans vote for Trump. All voted Trump.
Oh, so this is a desperate attention seeker.
Yep.
So they're gone.
Propaganda parrot.
Yeah. Mary G says comfortably numb is how I sign all my emails. That's interesting. Are you also referring to the Pink Floyd song, Mary G? Oh, Sandy, thank you for following me. Appreciate that. Thank you for all the people that continue to give gifts. I have a live goal of 100 roses. There's 3 of them picked off. If anybody else wants to help with that goal, that would be lovely. But yeah, I remember something that George Carlin said, because when George Carlin got into like his late 30s, early 40s, around there, he seemed to have an epiphany. And the reason why Carlin was my hero was because when I was a child, I was like not part of any group that I belonged to. I never fit in. And in some ways, that was, I don't know, my own personality. In other ways, that had to do with my circumstances of being the lone kernel of pepper in a sea of salt when I was 9 years old. And so I felt out of place a lot. And my ideas felt out of place a lot. People did not resonate with the things that I was saying because they were all buying into the propaganda. And I'm here saying, yeah, I don't think this stuff sounds right. So when I got into Carlin, when I was a very young man, it felt like, oh, finally, someone is saying the things that I think. And someone is getting laughs for the things that I get derision for. So I was like, oh, there's hope. This is good. And then, of course, as I got older, I saw how brilliant he was. And one of the things that he said, and I think he might have said this first on Charlie Rose, but it hardly matters where he said it first. He said, I don't feel like I'm part of this experience. I feel like I'm an observer. And as an observer, I get to report honestly because I have no stake in the outcome. And even though I'm not exactly like that, I understand that perspective because I feel completely out of place in America. And I don't know if there's any country where I would feel like I was connected, but I know for sure I feel completely out of place in America because I'm not waving a flag. I'm not putting my hand over my heart and reciting a pledge that ends with liberty and justice for all and doesn't adhere to that. And I'm not going to feel comfortable in a country that absolutely has made it very, very clear that it hates me and people that looks like me. Looks like me? People that look like me. So, you know, that part about not feeling connected to the group that he was with and the experience that everybody was having and being an observer is something that I relate to very, very much.
Your roses didn't pin, so they're not coming up. Your gift go didn't pin.
It didn't pin. Oh, because I saw 3 people knocked them out. So let me try again. Let me
It's
get a
not
new one.
showing up on top of your screen.
Oh,
So
that's interesting. Okay.
I just thought I'd let you know.
Thank you. Well, let me try this. Pin. I've never hit pin before. Let's see. Did that work? Is it up there?
Nope.
Okay,
Nope.
so I'm going to edit it and I'm going to try another one. Reset. I'm going to go for the heart puffs. The pink heart puffs. All right. Did the pink heart puffs show up?
Not yet.
All right. Well, if they don't, they
Must be
don't.
having a glitch.
Yeah, it
Must be a
happens.
glitch on their part.
Cynthia, liberal from Texas, writes, when you are a free thinker, you isolate from others because they're cliques of phoniness. That's an interesting way to put that. I think that sounds like it could be right. And people refer to Carlin as a prophet and say he was ahead of his time, and I disagree with that. The reason why Carlin sounds relevant now is the same reason why George Orwell's book, 1984, and Animal Farm, uh, sound relevant now. Same reason why Shakespeare sounds relevant now. And they're all connected by one thing, is that they captured human behavior and psychology very, very accurately. And since human beings have not changed, especially our brains have hardly changed at all in 300,000 years, and certainly not in the last 65,000 years. And because they talked about things that are true for humans, then they will essentially be always true for humans. Hopefully that made sense.
Yep.
I'm just now barely starting to stop sweating. I don't know what the I think it's because I ate something hot, but I mean, I was finished a half hour before the live. I mean, this is crazy. This is an hour and a half later and I'm still schwitzy.
Maybe you're going through the change.
Yeah. And maybe I'm just fat.
You and me both, brother.
Yeah. You know, it's just real. Sky says menopause. Yeah, maybe. Manopause.
Yeah, it's
I'm going
menopause,
I'm
not
going through
menopause.
fat
Menopause.
menopause.
There you go.
That's pretty funny. Oh man. So anyway, so that was my topic for today. There was a little bit of sadness when I recognized that I didn't feel bad about what happened. And again, it's a weird mix because it was obviously something that I knew was bad. That's why I made a post about it right away. My brain was functioning. That's funny. That's a good moment for my brain to have a hitch when I'm trying to say functioning. My brain was functioning properly in that I recognized what was being said to me and what it meant. But it wasn't until a couple hours later that I realized what was missing from that equation, because that's the hardest thing to notice, the thing that's not there, right? So I'm sitting there going, wow, I wasn't filled with sadness and despair at this news, this horrendous, horrifying news. And and I'm glad I had that awareness because it's important to me to be on top of my thoughts and my feelings so that I can manage them properly. Because, when I say that I coach in emotional management, that doesn't mean that I somehow teach people not to feel stuff. That would be dumb. You know, Anybody that says, oh, don't feel that way, don't think that way, that's just terrible advice because our brains are designed to think and our nervous system is designed to feel. We have, by some counts, like six main universal emotions, but as many as like 1,100 variations of these emotions. But obviously, we're born with a nervous system and an intellectual capacity that work hand in hand to interpret the world around us and respond to it with thoughts and feelings. So for anyone to give advice about, not feeling something or not thinking a certain way, it's dumb. What you want to do is accept, and this is my opinion, you want to accept what you're thinking and feeling and then manage those things. That's what I've been doing for almost 38 years now, and it has worked for me.
So I haven't heard anything from the administration on the days unlikely event that happened. Unfortunately, have you heard anything?
No, I have,
Oh, they did lower the flag to half staff. That's the only thing I heard.
oh, wow, what an amazing thing. I mean, when that stuff happened to uh, the politicians in Minnesota, Dump didn't even call Tim Walz. I mean, that's just
And I
despicable.
doubt if he's called today too. I don't think he's probably
Probably
talked
not.
to
He's
him.
too busy fleecing the treasury and figuring
Yeah,
out
fleecing.
new ways to scam for money. And to his credit, he's been very successful. He's pretty much doubled his net worth in the last couple of years. So good for him, but bad for the rest of us. Dangerfield, it looks like you were coming up and then disappeared. Are you there? Nope, guess not. So Dangerfields was trying to say something about Carlin, but it's unfinished, so I'm not sure what you're trying to say there. Cynthia, this is interesting. People ask me, how can you not have friends? Because I value myself. I long for a real friend someday. Interesting. Okay. Oh, someone is back requesting in. It's probably Dangerfield. Let's find out. Yes, it is. Okay. See if it works this time. Loading, 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 rawhide. uh, and he's not loading in for some reason. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, Dangerfield. Obviously, the platform is glitchy, so you might want to try again and see what happens. No heart puffs. People are not loading in. Although Danny, you got in with no problem. I think the platform likes you.
Either that or I snuck in and he just didn't know it.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Monday night I had a topic where I wanted to hear from men and women, and there were no women that came up. Yesterday,
Right?
3 women came up, but I was on a different topic, so I didn't want to ask it. And I was hoping, oh, maybe today. And then this nonsense happened, and I was like, all right, and now nobody's coming up besides you, which is fine with me. I'm happy to talk to you. It's just interesting how that works, and now TikTok is glitchy.
It's weird. Of course, TikTok's been acting weird. I think it's going to get weirder starting next week.
Yeah, yeah. Once they switch, I mean, I think that it's kind of a rollout to the new ownership because they were saying that the platform is still going to be available until March of
Right.
2026. So, for those of you who haven't saved your content, there's a way to do that. I mean, you could do it one by one if you want to. But I have close to 900 posts on TikTok, so doing it one on one wouldn't be the best thing for me.
Yeah, I don't have that much, but I do have a little bit on there. But if I lose that, that's okay.
Yeah, saying so. So Cynthia's saying because you have values. Yeah, I understand. I just don't understand the full context. Again, sometimes communicating through chat is difficult. Dangerfields is attempting for the third time. Let's see if it works this time. It's not so far, but maybe we'll be surprised. Still not working. That's funny. It's odd how that
Yeah,
happens
he's got
sometimes.
that. He must have that MAGA Wi-Fi where he's at.
Could be. But it's
He
it's
lives.
funny how people complain about these platforms. Like whenever something goes wrong, it's like I used to say to my best friend all the time. It's like I don't get mad when a call drops because I'm not celebrating when the call goes through, which it does most of the time. Calls go through most of the time. Once in a while they drop. I mean, these things are bouncing off satellites. This is a huge platform, and because it's so huge, they have to work on it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So when there's glitches, there's glitches. Nothing is going to work perfectly all the time.
Yeah, just like the cable companies were the same way. They were always glitches here and there. So you pay for it. You get that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing in life is perfect. Dangerfield is going to try a fourth time. Okay. I
There it is.
admire
He
his
made it.
consistency. Hello,
Hey, how are
Dangerfield.
you?
How you doing?
Okay. I'm just, very disturbed about we have a 240-year-old rule that says that we can carry ball firing and gunpowder, uh, pew pews and muskets, and with a well-regulated militia. And I don't see that, and I don't see anybody contesting it. Why do we still have these rules when there's 15s that you can hit a dime at 100 yards?
Well, it's it's a simple answer, which is people are making money.
Well, obviously they're making money, but still, we didn't have this problem 100 years ago. We didn't- well, the best you had was a shotgun, fire two shells.
Easy, easy. Um,
Well, whatever it was. Yeah, I'm
so
sorry.
um, it's the same answer. Why is our food garbage? Because large corporate farmers cut back on quality control so that they can make more money. Why is our air polluted? It's because presidents like Reagan and Dump relaxed regulations that keep us safe. Ironically, it's one of the best things that came out of the Nixon administration was the EPA,
Okay,
right?
but do you know that that shooting the other day
Easy, dude.
was
If you
not
keep doing that, I
considered?
have to drop you.
I'm
You
sorry.
got to
That
mind your
that pew
language, man.
pewing. Okay, that pew pewing the other day was not considered a mass pew pewing because less than four children were unalived.
And you bring that up for what reason?
And I bring it up because I'm watching the news and I've been watching it constantly for the past 4 hours while I was patching a hole in the wall because I fell down and I hit my head in it.
Sorry to hear
But
that.
yeah, well, the wall is patched, but my head is fine. But in either case, I'm sitting there looking at all these photos, and of the kids being brought out of the schools and stuff, and they're calling it just a pew pewing. They're not calling it a mass pew pewing it on any channel. And I looked it up, and it says no, to be considered a mass pew pewing, it has to be four unalived or more.
Yeah. They changed it too. It started with 2, and now it's at 4.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, just like with Israel and people don't understand Palestine.
Uh,
The,
Middle
the
East, Middle East,
citizens,
Middle East.
the Middle East, that section of the Middle East is actually Israeli citizens. And this thing that's going on, okay, you take 2,000, I take 60,000. It's getting to be, numbing in a way. You sit there and you say, what can I do? And you wonder, I write letters to congressmen and this and that. I got a letter back from President Trump, and he said, "Thank you for the letter." I think I told you that one.
Okay.
He asked
But
for
he
more
didn't
money.
respond. If we
Okay.
just told Israel to knock it off, we could probably get away with it. And then everybody brings up Ukraine, and Ukraine is the gateway to Europe. But Putin, I don't know if you read, when Putin first came in, he said he was going to unify the Soviet Union again.
Are you
And
building
he
to a
intends on
point?
going all the way
You're
through
just you're
Europe.
just tangentially bringing up a bunch of things. So I'm going to invite you to
Well, that's
bring
why
it to a point
I
that you're
brought it
trying
up,
to
and I'm
make.
going to leave you alone because you're too nice a man for me to bother. I just like to bring up thoughts.
Thank you. All right. Good night. All right. So, so let's see.
That was a lot of stuff.
Conan the Tanker is defending Pootie. That's interesting. Oh
Okay.
boy. These propaganda
I got
parrots are just hilarious. Pootie never said that. I mean,
where in the hell is McCarthy when we need him? He could get
yeah.
rid of these communists in America.
Yeah, I think the test needs to be along intellectual lines, because I think what we see is, as we've allowed dumb people to propagate over the years, it's become an issue. You've got people that just don't understand anything. They don't understand how anything works. They don't understand facts. They can't reason. They can't deduce. They just have nothing going on. And it's because humans are a compassionate species. And I'll give you two examples to support that. And of course, this is in general. As Margaret Mead pointed out, she was an anthropologist. The first sign of civilization was a healed femur bone, because that meant that person wasn't left behind to fend for themselves. It meant that at least one other person in the village was willing to help that person so that they could heal, instead of leaving them in a field somewhere to be devoured by predators. And the second piece of evidence that I like to cite is a big change from other mammals in the animal kingdom, which is in most mammal species, if there's an albino born, they usually perish the albino because it is viewed as a weakness in the gene pool, and they want to get rid of that. And so the fact that we, in general, are a compassionate species, we know that when there are potential limitations and potential damage to the gene pool, our compassion compels us to keep that child and to nurture that child rather than dispatch it. So, the fact that MAGAs don't have that function is a big problem. And we created our own problem by allowing dumb people to procreate at will. Now, I don't want anybody to confuse that with the idea of eugenics. That's not what I'm promoting. What I'm saying is something that Keanu Reeves said in the film Parenthood. He said, you need a license to hunt. You need a license to fish. You need a license to drive a car. But any butt-reaming asshole can be a father. Right? And I would like to see some kind of standardized test that indicates that someone can have a license to procreate, and then maybe in the future we'll have mostly smart people because the dumb people have taken over.
So that's kind of like I was just in my thought process as you were speaking, that there was entirely too much inbreeding down in dumb Fuckistan.
Yeah. And look, we could see in the royal family how that's problematic. And,
Yep,
you know, so it just, I think it's something to consider. I have no idea how it would be accomplished, but I would like to see licensing requirements for people to procreate.
makes sense. Really does when you really sit down and think about it. And then
You need to get
honestly,
a license if you want to play guitar on a street corner. They call it a busker license,
yeah, well, you
right?
got to
In
get a
some
marriage
states,
license to
you need a
marry,
license to own a ferret.
right?
I actually looked these things up. I looked for unusual licensing
Yeah,
requirements in America, and that was one of them. If you want to own a ferret in
and
certain states, you need to have a
you got to
license
have
to
a
do that.
license. Well, same with marriage. You got to have a license to get
Yeah,
married. But the only difference is down there in Dumfuckistan, the age limit is like 14. That's if you can marry your sister or your cousin.
yeah. Red Pepper says same issues are not found. SPOC. I don't know what that means. You might want to try again and explain that because
Yeah,
unfortunately I don't know
translation.
what you're trying to say. I assume
Piece
by
of
people
crap.
POC you mean people of color, but I don't know what the rest of that means.
Yeah, that could be that too.
I assume that's what it means. I just don't get what the rest of it means. And I'm not trying to be a jerk, Red Pepper. I honestly don't know what you're trying to say. But I am open to have you try again. Because sometimes when people invoke people of color, oh, okay, thank you for clearing that up. He says, why worry about what whiteys choose to do? So you're gone now because you are an insufferable asshole. I had a feeling that's the direction it was going.
Yeah,
And so just to prove that I'm even-handed, I don't tolerate racism no matter who it's directed toward.
right. Me neither.
Oh,
So you
Lord.
were right the first time what he meant on the POC.
Well, I wasn't, I didn't know what he meant at all. I mean, I just don't, I didn't even, I don't know. He said same issues are not found SPOC. So I don't know what the S was supposed to be saying. Was it in POC, around POC? I didn't know. So when he
Hmm.
clarified, or he or she clarified what they meant, I was like, oh, that's just dumb. I just,
Yeah,
I feel like there are some live shows. They know that if they argue with people like this, it's good for their viewers. Their numbers go up. Like what's his name? Dean, and what's the other guy? Oh, anyway, Dean Withers is a good example of this. I have absolutely nothing against him. Incredibly intelligent young man. But he spends his days arguing with MAGA hats. And he doesn't do anything else. And he's well rewarded for it. He makes his living doing it. and good for him. But I don't want to build my following that way. I don't want to build my numbers that way. I want to have genuine, real conversations. I will give people an opportunity to express themselves, but I keep them on a short leash. And if people just start getting goofy, they got to go. And I don't care. It's like, oh, you're blocking people that disagree with you. No, that's not what it is. People that disagree with me could talk to me for years without having an adverse reaction from me. But if you're just too dumb or too bigoted or whatever, I'm just not interested. But even though Red is not here, I'll go ahead and answer his incredibly dumb rhetorical question. I worry about what people do when what people do harms other people. Sorry. Right? So if you're making decisions, like, am I supposed to dismiss Dump because he's YT? That makes no sense. His decisions have a huge impact on my life and other people who live here. Of course, it also has impact on people around the world. So what a dumb question. Why should I worry about what YT people are doing? Because they run the fucking country. That's why. God, they're dumb. They're so dumb. Oh. You know, where did the Black Panther live? In the Wakanda, right?
Right.
I don't live in Wakanda, man. If I lived in Wakanda, I could ignore what certain people do, but I live in a country where the YT folks are the dominant culture, and they have huge sway over my life. These are the people that are making the laws, deciding how much to tax me, deciding what programs I'm entitled to, deciding whether they take us into conflicts that result in chaos and people perishing from the earth. So his or her idea, ignore it all. That's genius. Hey, I'll tell you what. If the doctor tells you that you have cancer, go ahead and ignore it, Red Pepper, you donut. And yes, for anyone who's keeping score, I am yelling at and insulting a person who is not here anymore. Oh, Lord. I do crack myself up at times. So, Danny, any other thoughts that you have on anything?
No, I'm just, be honest with you, I'm happy the day's coming to a close because I don't think I could take any more bullshit that happened already this morning and everything. It's just been, be honest with you, even though my life was pretty good and I felt that I did what I was going to do for the day when it comes to it, even though it was not a pleasant subject. I'm ready for this day to close and hopefully tomorrow is a better day. Be honest with you. It's been a miserable day when people lose their lives disgustingly like they did. And to sit there and to see and talk to people that have no empathy and don't give a shit about kids. I can only say it does one thing to me. It breaks my heart and pisses me off at the same time.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean,
Hi, Vicky.
I'm with you. Hello, Vicky. I'm with you. You know, they're like I didn't really do anything today, but you know, thinking and being focused definitely requires energy. And when I'm on your live, I don't have other distractions. When I'm on other people's lives, I'm watching TV and doing all that stuff, but I know that I would feel like I was doing you a disservice. So I never have distractions. I'm hyper focused. And, when I got to when your live ended and I started eating and because it sort of hit me somewhere, I don't know, the first hour and a half of your live. And I was just like, damn, man, like, what's going on that I don't feel anything about this event where children lost their lives, man. That's sad. It's sad to me. And I'm glad that it's sad. I'm glad that it bothers me, because it means that maybe I have enough humanity left to understand that there's a problem when, and the problem isn't necessarily mine. The problem is that we live in a country that makes sure that this stuff keeps happening. Make sure that 1 out of 5 homes are food insecure, that 50% of, veterans are homeless. You know, there's a long list of things that are just horrendous in this country, and it's wearing me down. I realize that today. My emotions have been worn down by the constant barrage of American-made horror. And I hope I live long enough to see the course corrected. Because I don't think it's going to be easy or quick, because I don't even know if people agree with me. And when I say people, I mean the people that make everything happen, the people that own America. Until they agree that there's a problem the same way we see the problem, what chance does it have of ever being changed?
Not much. And you know what really bothers me too, and I was thinking about this today. It has been, what is it, 8 months since the November election? It's been 8 months since I've flown my American flag outside my house. I don't have the willpower or the desire to hang that flag up while this tyrant is in office, this dictator. I think that I'd be disingenuous and fly it under false pretenses by flying my flag, out. So I'm I've decided that I'm never going to fly that flag as long as he's still on this earth, until he's gone from the administration, and hopefully we have a better president. You know,
Yeah, I respect that. I'm not even willing to call myself an American until this country deserves that. Because for me to align with this country, I'm aligning myself with everything about the country. And right now, I see a country that is absolute garbage, that is being run by a tiny group of billionaires who don't care about human beings. They don't care about life. They don't care about anything except more, more, more. And the problem with being addicted to more is that there's never an end to more. Whatever you get, you want more. Oh, you made $1 billion today because you put people out of work? And okay, so now you can afford another yacht. You could afford a 12th home in another country. Are you satisfied yet? Nope, I want more. Oh, so let's cut school lunches. Let's cut care for the elderly, Meals on Wheels. Let's cut that out. When that very well could be the only hot meal a person gets in their day. Oh, we have 50% of homeless people are veterans. The other 50% are mostly families. Oh, I need more. I need more. I have to now, my next acquisition is a rocket ship that launches 5 minutes into space just so I could feel something, or I need my 5th Instagram model because I need more. My bank account isn't huge enough. Oh, there's 3 people in the world that make more money than me. I have to have more. I mean, fucking hell, man. It's just it's a ticket to nowhere. Like the fact of the matter is the 3 richest people in America could solve world hunger permanently and barely feel a dent. Barely feel a dent in their money. When Felon Musk was at the height of his portfolio, just a 5% return on his money would have meant something like $25 billion a year just in interest. And you need more? You got to buy a whole country so that you can mine the data so you could sell to your friend at Palantir and you could both make billions of dollars. Why? It's a sickness. It's a sickness. And the only thing that comforts me in a very twisted way is the fact that I know these people are not happy. I know Dump's not happy. I know Musk isn't happy. I know Peter Thiel isn't happy. None of these people are happy because they're addicted to more. And if you're addicted to more, you can never be satisfied with what you have, which means you can never be grateful. And if you can't be grateful, you can't be happy. I am convinced of that. Leeds is another one of these people that wants to make pointless points. We're a constitutional republic built by the people for the people, not the billionaires. How's that working out for you? The country is actually has never been of, by, and for the people. That's propaganda. And I'm not trying to insult you personally, but your point just misses the mark. But 70% of Americans are 2 paychecks away from homelessness, and we're the richest country in the world.
That's true.
WKRP says, yes, that is true. And WKRP says, feed me more. That's what they want. Yep. And WKRP, if you want to come up, we haven't seen you in a minute. You are more than welcome to come up. Love to hear your thoughts on the subject. I'll quickly recap my, there he is. I'll quickly recap my, my topic for you. Oh, he missed too. All right. Oh, there he is. Hey, WKRP. How you doing, brother?
Hey man, how you guys doing?
I can barely hear you. You sound like you are in a tunnel 10 feet away from the mic.
Yeah, I have. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Now you're coming in and out as usual, but we're used to that. I can hear you. How you doing?
Yeah. Man, I'm doing all right, man. I had to take a break from things, and live stress free for a minute. But I currently I feel the same way you are, and right now just trying to get over some things, man, of what's going on in the world. And as I digress with any, how can I say this? Emotional things is the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poor, and they don't care. It's all about them now. This is what they want. It seems like our itinerary is working. You know, what do we do? What can we do, huh?
Well, you know, I'm glad you asked that question because we
It
come to
sucks.
that very often. And the only thing that we can do that I think even has a shot at working is a mass movement like we had. We need to take the Montgomery bus boycott and spread that to 50 states and be willing to sustain it for as long as it takes to topple the oligarchs. Because the only language they
Yeah,
understand is money, we have to affect their money. You know, I mean, and we've had some
that is.
success with that, but we haven't had an organized, sustained movement. And I keep saying I want to get the people. You know what? I'm going to commit to doing this. Tomorrow, I am going to contact each of the organizations that have organized the blackouts and the strikes and all this and the music festivals, blah blah blah. I wanna try to encourage. Not I'm not going to try. I am going to encourage them to communicate with each other to make one big movement instead of a bunch of fragmented movements, because these fragmented movements are not going to work. They're not going to have any long-term effect.
Yeah,
They have a little bit of an effect, and again, I don't want to minimize the effect that they've had. They've had some effect, but it's not been long enough and strong enough for people to. Because here's what happens. We deprive the oligarchs of what they want most, which is money. And then the oligarchs who run the politicians turn to the politicians and go, fix this. And then the politicians have to do something to help people out. That's what happened in Montgomery. And that was a year of daily sustained activity. And I won't stop saying it until we do the same. That's what we need. We need, and thankfully we have the example of No King's Day, all 50 states working together. Perfect. But it wasn't enough people ultimately, and it wasn't long enough. We have to do this, whatever it is we're going to do, we have to do it for at least a year and maybe more. But we have to starve the oligarchy of money. One of the things that I would encourage everyone to do, if you can move your money from a commercial account to a credit union, that helps starve the oligarchy, because the oligarchy is dependent on the banking system.
wow.
They do everything through the commercial banks. They give you 1% in interest, if that, while they're making 10, 12, and 20% interest by taking your money and investing it.
Yeah. And one thing I was thinking about when you said that, and with the boy protests, right now, the only thing that I venture of and think of is because of how he has the.
Yeah, unfortunately, you are cutting out very badly right now, and I'm only catching like every third word. So, if it's possible to move to a
Yeah.
different place, or again, you're very very spotty. Um, but whatever it is, it is. But anyway, Danny, what do you think of my idea of starving the oligarchy of money?
Absolutely. I'm already looking into moving my commercial bank account to my local credit union here, not too far from my house. So, but I have some stuff I have to make sure it can be moved there before I execute that.
Right.
But I agree with you. That's one way of getting their attention. That's not the only way, but that's one thing that will help in most cases. The biggest thing is, and Cynthia made a point of it, is that we need to get angry and organize. I said to her, we're already angry. We need to organize, plan, and then execute that plan. And that's the only way you're going to get. That's what they did with that bus strike. You know, they were angry. Rosa Parks got kicked off the bus, like she was trash, which was very sad. So they planned, they organized, they planned, and they executed the plan, and it lasted over a year. So that's what we need to do. And the commercial banks is a good start, but there's many other things we can do too, like Walmart, Kmart, Amazon, Costco, Sam's Club, all the big major lumber companies, hardware companies, all those cars, automobiles. If people don't stop buying new cars,
Yep.
that would get their attention real quick. The unions have a fit.
Yeah. And also one of the ways that you deal with the big box retailers is to shop local to mom and pop shops as much as possible. The times that I feel the best about spending my money is when I know that I'm helping a small business owner feed his family or her family. That's what I want. I want business owners that are that don't, they might have two or three stores or something like that, but they're not some nationwide conglomerate that's run by a venture capitalist company and everything is about crunching numbers and, you know, you know, kind of getting around rules and not adhering to regulations and all that stuff, because that's what these big
Yeah.
companies are doing. They dedicate themselves to getting around the rules. That's why a lot of these business people are bribing Dump right now, allegedly, is because they want favors from him. They want to get
Yeah.
around the rules, and they know that all it takes is little stroking of his ego and money, and they'll get what they want. Because democracy is for sale here.
Yeah. It seems like it. It really does. And I was trying to say, man, when we were talking about the boycotts. The only thing I was thinking about is how he would try to use his military now to seemingly stop certain things with people with protesting. Because if you notice, he's trying to send them out to now a lot of states, man. And I believe that what he's trying to do is orchestrate when people try to make a stand that's speaking against him or whatever, he's going to try and use them to really start messing with the people back, like the boycott times. It's going to be like, I don't know. I can just see how it's starting to form, you know?
Well, you're right, of course, and everybody just needs to understand that that's reality. If this was
Yeah.
easy, then it would be worthless, right? This is going to be hard. We are going to be plunged into darkness because
Oh, yeah.
these people are going to fight tooth and nail to keep the power and the money that they have. No government has ever responded well to an uprising. And Pinky says, unfortunately, Walmart employs 2 million people. Right. And the rest of America is paying for those people because Walmart gets all these tax breaks, and most of their employees are on social services because Walmart refuses to pay them enough. Even though the owners of Walmart,
Yeah.
all of Sam Walton's offspring and his ex-wife, are billionaires, they don't take care of their employees. So I get it. All of these things, everything I'm talking about is difficult. Everything that I'm talking about has the potential to be dangerous. I understand that. I'm not being callous or cavalier
Yeah.
about any of this. I fully understand what's at stake here. All you got to do is read what happened in 1917 in Russia, where they had a February uprising and a November uprising, November, October, either one. And the first uprising was violent, the second one was peaceful, but it took a lot. A lot of people lost their lives in order to get the government to change, and they did topple a kingdom. And, that was an impressive
Yeah,
success. But the price that they paid was a horrifying price. And so I'm not out here advocating for
most
people
definitely.
to be harmed. And that's why I'm saying, if you can do these things, do them. If you can't, then don't. But I've got to be honest about what the options are, and this is what I see as the option. And believe me, if anyone comes up with a better idea, I'm all for it. But I just haven't seen one yet. All right, so I'm probably going to
It's a
start
tough one.
winding down soon, but um, first of all, thank you everybody who's doing all the tapping and the sharing and all that good stuff and commenting. I appreciate that. Um, But WKRP, aside from staying off of social media to take a little bit of a break, what else was going on in your life? Anything fun and interesting?
Yeah, it's something good and interesting. My wife, I'm working with her, and she's working on a CD, an album that's going to be coming out very soon, and just doing some other projects, man.
Let me
Something
guess. Hold on. Let me guess. Is her CD gospel music?
yes,
Look at that.
yes.
I only needed one guess.
You the man.
I was going to say the same thing. You beat me to it.
Yeah, but that's good. Here's the thing. There are some gospel songs that I absolutely can't stand, right? And there are others that I find great. Like I was moved to tears by Kirk Franklin's Imagine Me, I think it's called. That the sentiments in that piece are really beautiful. I love the fact that he works with these choruses and he's doing the spoken word thing and they're doing the singing, and I find that to be a very beautiful thing. Unfortunately, there's too much of religious music that is offensive to me. But there are gospel songs that I really really enjoy.
That's what's up. Me the same, and I, I like the old time gospel. I like Kirk Franklin some of his stuff as well because one of my a person that he made the song with something about the name of Jesus. He was on my show. His name was Bishop Rance Allen. Man, great singer and everything, and really got to know him. But it's just certain songs and certain things, just like you say, that I can relate to, and some I might not. To really contemporary guy, I'm really not. But I don't know. I'm diverse when it comes to certain things as well. Kind of like
I
you
got you.
said, though.
Yeah. So, what kind of gospel song do you dislike?
Uh, I'm not really into, how can I say it? Contemporary is gospel. I mean, it's the, I love worship music and I like different gospel, but it's just some contemporary I'm just not into. It doesn't, for me. I put it like that, man.
Huh.
I'm like the old time guy, old time gospel, like I like that and just different,
Give me
I
that
don't know.
old
Oh
time
yeah, people
religion.
get
Give me that old
with
time
that
Yeah.
religion.
old time
Ah,
religion. Yep.
I'm more of that.
I
Yeah,
I
man.
shared with WKRP a couple of songs that I liked to hear a few days ago, and I sent him the music and everything. I like Carol Robertson, one pair of hands, and I like Ray Price when he sang "How Great Thou Art."
Yeah.
And of course, I love how sings Danny Boy too. Of course, that's a song near and dear to my heart. So,
Yeah, that's
but
like you have to think about you, Grandpa Danny with Danny Boy. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yes, sir. But and I'm just how can I put it? This is my season. I thank God I put it like that. That I'm venturing out in different things, man. Arena. talk showing is good, but I'm doing. I'll just put it like that. I'm doing some writing for some things and testing the waters with a lot of more.
Are we talking music
Yeah.
writing or another kind of writing?
The other kind of writing, music as well, but the other kind of writing that you probably already thinking. Yeah,
Nice, nice,
yeah.
good. Well, I love that. I either miss my season or it's ahead of me, because I've not locked into
No, no,
anything.
you haven't. You
Uh,
haven't because I'm. You haven't. You haven't missed it. Trust me.
well, there's no
You
way for you to
haven't.
actually know that, but it is possible that I've missed it.
Yeah,
I don't know yet. We won't know until the end. But I for a minute, up until May of this year, I thought that there was a chance that I was building up enough momentum to make money on social media. I don't know if that's still a viable thing for me, but I'm going to figure something out because I definitely want to keep making content. I enjoy it. I recorded something yesterday, and in the past few days, I recorded things that I wrote 10 and 15 years ago. And then I took them from the paper to the spoken word, and I really enjoyed
yeah,
doing that. And so, that's the kind of thing that I want to continue doing. And if it were up to me, that's the only thing that I would do every day is just create content. And that's what I'm free to do right now, but the window is
yeah,
closing as to how much longer I will be able to keep doing that. So, if I don't figure out a way to do it through social media as far as making money, then I'll have to, figure out another way to generate income. Maybe
yeah.
there's some stripper bar somewhere where they like big, fat, hairy dudes. Anything is possible. But
But
Oh my God.
aside from that, I will continue to make content no matter what. But I just hope that I don't have to have a regular job while I do it. And it's like it's like the kind of a hope that a child has or a young man has about his future. There's no guarantee that I'll get that, but that would be lovely if I could.
yeah, but here's the other thing I was gonna say. If I were you, just keep on because I look at you. You ever watch the show Frasier?
Sure.
And he had his talk show. He would talk to different people. That is more like I see you as well. I mean, because great continents, great counsel, just talk about things, and it goes in your line, your field. And if I were you, I would try and basically do that as well as with YouTube as well.
Let me see if I can remember Frasier's catchphrase. I'm listening.
But I'm being serious. I
Yeah.
am so
No, and I and I
serious
and
with
I
it.
believe you are, and I totally get that, and I love that idea. I've been doing this 5 years now. My other platforms, I can't get arrested on, and that's either very often when people talk about their inability to make progress on social media, they'll resort to saying, "Oh, I'm
Yeah.
being shadow banned," and blah blah blah, and all that shit. It
Hmm.
just could be that not enough people find you interesting. That's
That's
all
true.
it is.
Yeah.
And you have to be honest about that. And like, you know, I think that I'm. Thank you, Vicky. I think that I'm an interesting guy in general. I know I'm funny because I can make people laugh and have been able to do so my whole life. But what happens with in any entertainment scenario, and I know that you know this, and I know that everybody kind of knows this. There has to be a critical mass of people that puts you over the top to where you can now sustain your life through whatever entertainment venue that you choose. And at the end of the day,
Yeah.
social media is entertainment. And so, I admire a lot of the people whose podcasts I watch. And I started a podcast I started it in 2020, but I didn't launch
Okay.
officially until 2021. And
Yeah.
I started it under the auspices of the idea that people have always found me interesting. right? Because I'm watching these podcasts, and finally I said to my friend, I was like, we do this already. You know, we have interesting conversations when my best friend and I are in the same room and surrounded by people, eventually all those people are going to come over to listen to what he and I are talking about because it's
Yeah.
an interesting conversation. It's almost always funny and all that stuff. So I was like, hey, I see people, they don't seem any more brilliant or talented or whatever than I am. So let's jump into this. And I'm glad I did it because I found a love. I found something that I'm passionate about. I love creating content. I never knew that I would. And so that's why I
Yeah.
want to keep doing it. Even if I never make a dime doing it, I'm going to keep doing it. But my preference is to be able to focus on making content exclusively so I don't have to do any other work.
So WKRP, are
But
you
that's what it's
still?
about.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Danny.
Go
What were
ahead,
you
Gopal.
saying?
Yeah, no problem. Are you still interviewing Danny Glover's brother or cousin next month?
Yes, me and him. Yeah. The thing is, we're having a. I'm tackling with him. He has his. How can I say it? He is now doing some filming, and we're trying to get things narrowed down. And that's another thing that I'm very much interested in, and that's what I'm. Uh, let's just say venturing in some things of that nature as well. And I'm just trying to. My goal is right now. I'm concentrating on my brand and getting out there and doing all the things I can. The God has given me the vision to do,
Nice.
and and that's my thing. Even though it is, I put it like this: it isn't easy having your own. Because you have to finances. You have to look at a lot of things. But I trust in God, and like He's just been opening doors for me, and I'm thankful for that. I'm not saying it's been easy, but I put him first, and I just push it. I rely on the skills that he's given me and the talent because I never thought or imagined that I could television start off first with a broadcast radio and then it goes to television. But I'm thankful, and I'm
Absolutely.
gonna use, and I'm like I would tell anybody, don't give up on your dream, no matter what. Still, and no, if nobody believes in you, believe in yourself.
Well, when I hear
You
you
know.
speak about your situation and how God is helping you, I'm convinced that God obviously hates me. But aside from that,
What?
now I have a suggestion for you. I now
What?
listen. Do with this what you will. I'm not trying to tell you how to run your business, but you've got
Yeah.
an interview coming up with Danny Glover's brother. I suggest you
Yeah.
title it "The Other Glover."
Got you.
And with the
Look at,
byline, the
and
gloves
his
are
name
off.
is Martin Glover. He's a
Martin
man. He's a
Glover.
nice
Okay.
guy.
Yeah. Go
Martin.
ahead.
Yeah,
What'd you
Okay.
say,
Martin
Danny?
Glover.
I said he could say Martin Glover, the gloves are off. Right
There you
there,
go.
see? The gloves are off.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
Martin Glover. Who the fuck is this?
Who is this guy?
You wow.
That's funny. Oh my God, you got him teacupping already. He must got a
Yeah.
phone call.
Yeah.
Well, he's an important
His
man.
wife
That's
is probably
probably
saying, why are you on that stupid show again?"
Martin Glover's on the phone saying, I can't believe you're talking smack about me, guys.
You guys have the great. Trust me. If you were to talk with medium, trust me, Yoda. You guys have the same, almost like personality. He's a
Oh, my
outspoken, outgoing,
condolences to
but
him.
nice guy. Oh,
Yeah,
Well, I'm a
I
big fan of
sometimes
his
joke
brother
that
anyway.
when when I went for brain surgery, they successfully removed the tumor, but unfortunately left my personality intact.
boy, he's something else.
By the way, I'm a big fan of Danny Glover, so that's why I had to talk
Uh,
about it. But I am interested in Martin, so
yeah, and his
I'd be
son,
interested
Danny
in,
Glover's son. He's making great movies, man. He is on the move,
oh,
just
is
like
he?
Denzel
Oh, I didn't know
Washington's
that.
son.
That's
Yeah,
good.
man.
I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
I
yeah,
always
Danny
like to
Glover's
see a
son.
nepo baby
Yeah.
succeed. That's always exciting.
Well, see,
But here's the
WKRP.
thing. I will say this. Um, I see a lot of like famous people's children following their footsteps into the entertainment business. And of
Yeah,
course, it's not unusual. Very often, children do what their parents do, right? But what's
true.
interesting about entertainment is that even though nepotism can open the doors for you, the entertainment business is all about, are you making me money? So, like
Yeah,
Dennis
yeah.
Quaid and what's her face from Sleepless in Seattle. What was her name? Meg
Let me
Ryan?
see.
Meg
I
something?
think
Is that
so.
her?
Is that
Yeah, I
is that
think
her?
so.
So their son is on The
Yeah,
Boys. He's on The
yeah,
Boys TV
yeah.
show, and he's really good. So I know it's like, yeah, I get it that your parents opened the door for you, but you can't stay if you're not talented.
That's right. It doesn't matter. It
Yep.
doesn't matter. It's just like that. And it's funny because if you think about Ron Howard and his brother, great,
Cliff,
but Ron Howard, yeah, but Ron Howard was more, I want to say, more successful with it
yeah,
in his acting and his directing and producing career.
yeah.
Totally.
Oh
Cliff
yeah, Ron
Howard
Howard as a
has a
kid wasn't that
great.
great.
Cliff Howard was actually on Star Trek,
Yeah,
and I mean the original show.
the original.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
It was an episode where they came up to this sort of malevolent being,
Yeah.
and they dubbed his voice with the voice of like an adult, but him as a child was playing the character. It's a very interesting episode.
I
Um,
wonder if I've seen that
but
episode.
the
Like that.
problem that Cliff Howard has is that he looks like a troll. That's the only. That's
I
yeah.
didn't want to say that.
Yeah, I mean, and I am I am certain, 90% certain that he's probably a decent person. I
Yeah.
love the things that he said about his brother in public. He said, "Hey, my brother's an okay director, but he's a much better older brother." That's a lovely thing to say.
Yeah.
And so, I don't wish him any ill will, but he's a funny looking dude.
Yeah. Yeah. He's different. Oh boy.
But
That.
here's what I love about Ron Howard is that he's put Cliff in just about every one of his projects.
That's right.
I like
And
that.
that's
I like when I
that
see
is
directors hiring the same actors all the time. I like when I see people from a film and then 10 years later there's another film and I go, "Oh, wow, those two people were in that show 10 years ago." So one of them brought the other up into that
that's
show
Yep.
with
right.
them, I
That's,
love that.
that's
I
what I
love
said
that.
about Adam Sandler. He does that with my friend Lavelle Crawford and
Yeah.
all, and they all, yeah, man. He brings all of the guys back. He
Andy
brings them
Griffith
back.
did that with Don Knotts.
Nice.
Brought him up in that movie No Time for Sergeant, brought him to the Andy Griffith show. Yep,
Yeah.
sure did.
Lavelle
Who
Crawford
did I see?
always sounds like he's choking on a steak.
He
Right.
does. He does. That's my boy, man. I had a great interview. I don't know. I haven't with Lavelle. He's something else. He is awesome.
Yeah.
He is awesome.
It's interesting.
Yes, he
I've
does.
never found him funny, but
For real?
I've seen interviews with him. Yeah, I have like I find a lot of things funny, but that whole why people do this and black people do this, I'm bored with that shit. I'm just bored with that shit. And again, I'm happy for his career. I hope that he's happy in his life and successful and all that other shit. It's just I don't feel the
Yeah.
need to consume his comedy. Like I don't think I've ever laughed at a Seinfeld joke when he was doing stand up.
Man, I love Jerry Seinfeld. I would watch that all the time.
No, not the show
George.
Seinfeld. Not the show Seinfeld.
Oh,
The
okay.
show Seinfeld was successful because of Larry David. I'm talking about Jerry
Uh,
Seinfeld as a stand up comic. I
oh,
never
gotcha,
laughed
gotcha.
at one of his jokes. The most he got from me was, that's it. But hey, good for him. He's the
Yeah,
grand
Bill
poobah of
Maher's
comedy.
that
He's
way with
filthy
him.
rich and all that shit. But there's some
Oh
people
yeah.
who I've just never found funny.
Yeah, Bill Maher's one of those. I don't his stand up show. I don't find him funny in his stand up
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah.
I used to like his show on HBO, but he jumped the shark years ago. I mean, there
Oh yeah,
he's just the most inconsistent logic, the dumbest takes on things. He actually thinks he understands politicians because politicians have been on his show. It's like, when in the
yeah,
world does it work like that?
Yeah, because
Like,
he
right.
changed. He used to talk against Trump, but then he went to Mar-a-Lago, and then
yeah,
he said, "Well,
Oh yeah,
Trump." Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you're right about him.
he's
yeah.
I
He's
don't.
just
wishy-washy.
I see a lot of podcasters talking about him now, and so I get to see clips of these incredibly dumb takes that he has. Same with Joe Rogan. I was following Joe Rogan's career from 1993. All right.
Yeah, I used to watch
Yeah.
Joe too. Yeah,
Oh Lord. And I'd never watched Fear Factor because I'm grossed out by that kind of stuff. But I was on the show before. I was watching a show before Fear Factor called News Radio, and I
yeah,
love that show for many reasons. Most of the casts were amazing, and I love Joe Rogan's character. I vaguely remembered him from Mad TV when he did some sketches once in a while. But then his podcast hit, and I started watching that. I loved it. He was liberal minded, and he would get emotional when people were suffering. And I was like, oh, here's a good person to have on the team. And ever since he got a C19, something, maybe the brain that was living in the worm that was living in RFK's brain made it to Joe Rogan's brain, because he sounds like a lunatic now.
Right.
He's now it's finally occurring to him that maybe he was wrong to platform dump. But I'm sick of these fucking podcast bros that just glazed this guy in 2024 and literally helped him get into the White House. And now they're like, "Oh, I didn't vote for this." Yeah, you did, you dumb
Yeah,
fuck.
Glenn Beck is another one did the same thing.
Oh Lord.
He rode his tail and then rode right over it. Yeah,
Glenn Beck, I think he's emotionally unstable. I
I
really
agree.
do. I really do. Like, I know for some of these people it's a shtick. Like Jesse Waters, I think it's a shtick. Um, what's his face? Fucker Carlson. He
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
say
yeah.
he never says a sincere word out of his mouth. Right? Some of these people really believe the shit that they're saying, but
Yep, Sean Hannity, all those
these
guys.
people sold their souls in order for TV
Right.
money.
Yep, absolutely. So WKRP, when you interview Martin, is that going to be on the tube or on CW?
yeah. Can you hear me? It's gonna be on
Yeah.
Yeah.
the. I'm gonna CW. It's gonna be on CW. Oh, matter of fact, all
Okay.
the new fresh is gonna be on the CW,
Now,
and I'll just
Gotcha.
share it
when you
Okay.
to
make
the
an
because I don't
episode
think I would
for
ever
the
do anything live
CW,
on TikTok.
do you own that content, or does CW own it?
Yeah. No, I do.
Oh, good. So then you
Can you
could
hear me?
you
I
could
do.
put clips on it on any other platform that you like.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah.
Cool. Nice. All right. Good stuff.
Well, I
I
want
like
to
it.
see it. That's for
Yeah, man.
sure.
Yeah, I
I'm gonna
have.
share it to you.
I just found out
I'll,
that I have uploaded 569 videos to my video platform, the Tube.
wow. Okay. You go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything, but it was fun to make.
He said it
I'll
doesn't
have to
mean look
call in
funny.
on the show when Martin's on there and say, "Hey, Grandpa Danny's on the line. Pick it up."
And
That's funny.
I'm looking. Yeah, look at you. But I want to do certain things, but I know Dump is scaring a lot of hopefully a lot of TV media things, and because I want to talk about a lot of more things on it, and I'm just gonna see how that goes with
Yeah,
my
well,
producer.
I would
But
suggest that you be careful. If you decide to criticize the king, he's going to act like a king and he's going to
yeah,
come after you.
Yep.
That's what he's done.
I
Like
know.
he's made it clear to everyone in broadcasting that, hey, I run the FCC and I will hold you back. Now, maybe because you're a smaller show that won't affect you, but I've seen
Yeah.
people cave in, and I can't even blame them because these people are making their money, and they want to keep making money, and so they're caving in, firing Stephen Colbert and canceling his show and stuff like that. That late night franchise
That's
has been
crazy.
around for a very long time, and they're canceling it just because Donnie Dump doesn't like it.
And I heard he won a 400 some dollar million, $400 million suit.
Who did?
Wow. Uh, a dump
With who?
just today.
Today?
I was listening to. I got to find out. Yeah, it's dealing with some type of media. Yeah, man. It's dealing
The
with. I'm
only
like,
the only
wow.
reason that I'm
I got to pull it up,
suspicious
but I
is
was listening.
because
I'm like,
he almost never wins civil lawsuits. That's a fun fact about
yeah,
Dump.
well,
When he goes to civil court,
he's
he loses most of the time.
yeah. That's what I was thinking too. But look like this guy's I don't know. I don't know. Judges. I don't know, man. I know he wins with the Supreme Court.
Not always.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if he
Now
if
he's
he
got
won
about a
a
20%
lawsuit
success
this
rate with the
month.
Supreme Court right now.
So
Yeah,
what, Danny Grandpa?
I don't see any evidence of this lawsuit that you're talking
I
about.
don't know. I don't know. They were talking about it today. I was listening, but I forgot. I was They was talking about with some company. So he won. Basically overturned. It was about close to about 400 million.
You're
I'm
talking
like,
about the New
wow.
York City fraud case.
That's exactly. That's it.
Yeah, he didn't win anything. They just overturned the penalty.
Uh, so that means he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to do anything about it, right? He's in the clear.
It means that they overturned the penalty. That's all that means. He doesn't have to.
Yeah.
If what you're saying is accurate, and we kind of knew it was coming, but he still lost the case, and he was still found civilly guilty by Letitia James of having committed business fraud. I don't believe that gets expunged. I think he just doesn't have to pay the fine.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I don't know how this guy keeps. I don't know, man. It's just
It's easy.
he.
He's
I don't know.
president of America. That's how. That's
Yeah.
the reason he ran again. The reason he ran again was because of his legal issues.
Yep. Stay out of jail. Prison.
And America
And it
rewarded
worked.
him for his effort. 77
Most
million
definitely.
fucking morons decided that a con artist and a grapist was the one that they wanted. A guy that his children's charity was shut down and hit with a $2 million fine because he was stealing from the charity. His fake university was hit with a $25 million fine for fraud. His
Woo.
business practices were hit with fraud, and he got hit with 400 million in fines. I mean,
My goodness.
this is the person that people thought should be president of America. How do you deal with that much stupidity?
Because of hate. Hate. The hate.
I know
They're more
why it
worried about.
exists, but what are we to do? What are us sane, reasonable people to do when half of the voting population is out of their fucking minds?
Good question, Yoda. Good question.
I'll tell you what we don't do next time. Maybe the minority community in America could maybe not vote for their own oppression. How about we start with that fucking idea? Maybe you
That's good.
self-hating Latinos and other minorities, maybe get your fucking head out of your ass and not vote for your own deportation. How about that for an idea?
That's true. I don't know, man. But I hope that when the Dems do get back in power, that they will be just as hard on the for MAGA and Republicans as they've been on them, and not come with
And I love that
not
you're
come a
assuming that the
pushover.
Dems will get back in power. I'm not so confident that that's going to happen.
Nope, I'm not either anymore.
Yeah, I pray it does though. That's all I can say, man. I don't know. Try to look at positive. Shit. Because if not, this stuff will just make your blood pressure boil. I mean, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
crazy.
I'm pretty good at regulating my emotions. I don't really get upset too often anymore by this stuff, but I am passionate about it.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I absolutely hate in the minority community is the willingness to vote for Master. Master doesn't
Yeah.
care about you. Master doesn't want what's best for you. Master doesn't even
Yeah.
see you as a fucking human being.
Yeah.
But when Master says vote, you go, okay, Master, I'm a step and fetch it. Go fuck yourselves, man. Go fuck yourselves, you dumb bastards. Every time, like Danny sees how I get whenever a self-hating minority gets on a panel and just starts like, yeah, shit on me more, Donnie. What the fuck, man?
Like Uncle Ruckus.
Yeah,
Why are you bothering these
we
fine
had.
white folks?
Yep.
You got that boy.
Every time I watch that Django Unchained, I think about that guy, Mr. John. Every time I see that movie,
See,
I think
Danny,
about that.
what's not Danny? What the fuck is his name?
Samuel
Samuel L.
Jackson.
Jackson's character
Yes, sir.
was a perfect representation of what I'm
Yep.
talking
Yes, sir.
about. Um,
Yep.
the speech that he gave right before Django dispatched him was the whole
Yep.
point of his character, right? That was the whole reason that that character was in the film at all, right? Was
Right.
to say there will always be a Candyland, right? And
Always.
it's those motherfuckers that I hate
Yep.
because they're still here. That shit ended in 1865, but those motherfuckers are still among us. Those house Negroes.
You're right.
Yes,
They
sir.
showed it in The Butler, in that movie, The Butler, the same way. They showed
Yeah.
him at the start of the Butler movie.
Yep. I seen that.
You know, these people that, you know, there are people alive today in the minority community that were the reason why Harriet Tubman was armed, because she had to get rid of those people because they jeopardized the mission. They were working
Yep.
against their own people. That's what we got out here. A bunch of Sambo Oreo dumbasses.
Yeah. You might well say it like it is because it's bad when you try to make a plan and thing and somebody right in the midst of it, like the FBI, they used to say, well, put a plan in and tell everything that was going to be on, where they were going to do it, everything. Boy,
Don't do that. Master
it's
gonna
rough.
get mad.
Y'all saw.
I hate those motherfuckers. I really do. They make me sick. It's like you know, there are plants. Most plants have a mechanism in them to secrete a chemical to prevent insects from eating them, right?
Hmm.
So that
Yeah.
means that a daisy has more of a sense of self-preservation than a self-hating minority.
Wow.
Yeah, they need to re-air that series back from the mid-70s roots because a lot of people have never seen that. And they really need to re-air that whole series. That will tell a lot to a lot of the black folks out there right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's still the most watched television series, the miniseries ever in television
Yeah,
history.
I own it. I own the series and
Yeah,
I have it on my shelf.
I have reached my limit of watching stuff like that. I saw a lot of it.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of documentaries. Like, you know, I remember sitting in this house that I had rented on Long Island, and I was watching a documentary about slavery. And this was the first time, this was like the Schindler's List of slavery, where they really
Right.
showed all of it. And I was sitting there crying, just knowing that human beings were treated like that.
Yep.
It was painful for me. And what's even more painful is knowing that that stuff is still going on. You know, it's going
Most
on in
definitely.
America. It's going on around the world. You know, as I always remind myself, there's more beautiful and wonderful things going on than horrible things. But unfortunately, the horrible things have more of an impact on the world. And
Yeah.
I see people that are just soulless. Like what's happening in the Middle East now is unthinkable. Everyone involved with that needs to be put in jail for the rest of their lives. Everyone, all the soldiers,
Yep.
all the leadership, everyone has to go.
If
They
they're
are no
still
longer
alive. Yeah.
part of the team. They are no longer part. When you make a joke out of which part of the body you're going to damage when you discharge your weapon, and it's on children,
Mm.
come on, man. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? They all
Pure
have to
evil.
go.
Pure.
All of these evil fucks have to go that are like, oh, well, you know, we can make another $1 million if we just let the mine collapse on all these people. Like, they don't care. They don't care. And they all got to go.
You know what, Yoda? I never, I never dreamed of imagining that people could be cannibalistic with those things too. What they said with different slaves and what they would do, they would basically, they was, I don't know, they were saying they would eat the people, eat some of the slaves. It's crazy, cannibalistic stuff.
No, that's a practice as old as time itself. You
That's
know,
crazy,
I
man.
mean,
The
when
meta.
the reason why Captain Cook no longer walked the earth was that he found a new island and it just happened to be populated by cannibals, and they decided to make him the main course.
Yep.
And that was what I think that was in like 16 or 1700s or some shit like that.
Right.
Wow,
You know what?
crazy,
Now I got to look that up because I haven't thought about that for a long time.
crazy. My God, people can be insane. It's just pure evil, man. That's what it is.
There you go. Yeah, he perished in 1779. God damn it, my memory's good. This is why I'm so good at Trivial Pursuit.
I see.
Yep. I keep losing people every Friday of not coming in because they're afraid to challenge Yoda on something.
Yeah, listen, if it'll help the game, I'll step away from it. But it's so
No,
much
no,
fun.
Nah,
I was
man.
just kidding.
No, you
I'm
make
just
it.
kidding. You know, you're one of the stars. Everybody comes to see how bad you take everybody out.
I love the fact that like people are like, oh, we want to beat you, and I'm like, all right, like I don't care,
Yeah,
you
Sam,
know.
that was funny when Sam said that. Yeah.
A few people have said
Sam.
it, and and KRP. Let me tell you, he talks all nice. He has that southern drawl, but deep down inside, he's a piece of shit because he's always cheering when I get something wrong.
I can't help.
That's because you pick on him. Because hey, Hey, WKRP, that's an entertainment question, you dumb fuck. You didn't get that one.
Yeah, I
I'm like,
suppose I brought that on
man,
myself.
yeah, yeah, you did. But I love it because it's competitive and it makes you think. But man, some of those questions, I'm obsolete, brother.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's it.
yeah, we know you don't
Did
have to
you
explain
read
that to us. We
Sam?
see it every week. But the thing
Yeah,
that's interesting is I'm like I would say I would love to say that I don't have a sense of competition, but I think 10% of me is competitive, and which is great for me because it used to be I was 100% competitive, and I would be the person that crashed out if I was losing, and what all that. But now I'm happy to say that it's 90% about having fun. And once in a while I'll glance at the score and be like, oh, I better bone up or something like that. But I don't get like that side of me is not what's driving me to be there. And I think that's probably true of most of us. And there's some kind of equation. Everybody has a percentage that's fun and a percentage that's the competition. And it's just a question of which one is highest, Because we've seen what
Yeah.
happens when people let the competitive side be a little bit too much for them.
Did you see
true.
what Sam posted on the in the comments?
Yoda and I are
Uh-uh.
scaring people away. Yeah. Question mark. Yeah.
Yeah, you right about that, Sam. You right.
Oh well.
God.
Oh well. Hey, I got some advice for you. Get smarter.
You right. You right, man. Woo.
I can't help that I'm
You
brilliant.
guys,
That's my mom
you
and
guys are
daddy
some.
made me that way.
You guys are some history buffs, especially in the 17 and going back to the hundreds. Good lord.
And I love when people are like, that happened before I was born. All right. So did almost everything. What's that got to
Yeah.
do with it?
I give it to you. You guys are good with that.
I
Yeah,
love it when guys
I don't
start
know. I don't
talking
know
that
why.
way.
I really I don't because so many of my answers, and I'm not saying this to be cute. I'm not saying it for any other reason than it's the truth. So many of the answers that I give surprise me. I until Danny says that's right, I'm not sure. It's something that comes into my head. I say it and hope for the best.
Yeah.
And then when he is right, he goes, "What the fuck? I
Yeah.
didn't even think I
No,
was."
I'm telling you, that's why I say that is because it's truly a surprise to me. I'm like, I was right.
Holy fuck! Oh, we got
Sam
Sam
is
up here.
here.
Look
What's up,
Yeah,
Sam?
I have to jump in. I can't. My thumb hurts. But
Well, stop sitting
but
on
no,
it.
no. Yeah, no, well, the biggest thing, like Yoda said, the biggest thing that means more, that's more important to me is just having fun.
Yeah.
But, but they're, having a competition, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's a bonus.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just a bonus.
Yeah. Life is competitive, and
Yeah.
it's that old saying of steel sharpens steel. Like, it wouldn't be as much fun for me if like I got 75 points and everybody else got 25. That's not fun.
Right.
But
Right.
if it's like kind of close and stuff and maybe two or three of us pull away from the pack, then it's like, oh yeah, this is a nice fun competition. But honestly, all most of what I remember from Friday nights on Danny's live show is just how much we laugh. Like it's just
Yeah.
nonstop laughter, Judy screaming ready and people like saying goofy shit and people getting mad at the questions sometimes, which is really particularly hilarious to me. But it's all just fun, and that's the whole point of it. It's I still maintain that it's the most fun that you're ever going to have on social media is Danny's trivia game.
Oh man, it's
Most definitely.
added because I make homemade pizzas Friday nights or
Oh,
Saturday
nice.
nights, whatever it is. But it adds to me being in the kitchen doing that as we're
Yeah,
doing it. So
yeah, nice. That's good stuff. So, I think we're going to wind it up. I actually wound up going way longer than I thought I would, but the conversation was absolutely fun. So, Sam, thank you for coming up and making some comments about Danny's live. I always appreciate that. And thank you for supporting this live.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. And, WKRP. See you Friday night, right?
Yes, sir.
Right on.
I love it. All right. Good night,
See you
Sam.
Friday, Sam.
All right. So, WKRP, any final thoughts for the evening?
Yeah, final thought is let's not stress about this mess, and man, just try to deal one day at a time, man, and just keep on. Just all we can do is unite and try to help each other through this. That's my best thing to do, man. That I can say.
I agree absolutely, and I'm very, very, very happy to hear that you're building your media company. You are an extremely decent human being, so I'm glad that you're succeeding and you're doing it on your terms. That's a wonderful thing. You are an example for all of us. So thank you for that, and thank you for participating in my live as always.
Hey, I'm always be there. If I might not be there as much as I was, but I'm always trying to whatever I can get time to
Hey,
man just to show my appreciation.
anytime you have that you send our way is a good thing. So I appreciate that. Have a
Yep,
great night, brother.
absolutely.
Okay, you guys too. Thank you so much, yo.
You too.
All right, Danny, my older brother from another mother and the last man standing. Every time you are on my live, what are your final thoughts?
Well, we got 15 people left in the room. We look like we hit 40K. So
I'll
just
take it.
slow start, but yeah, I take it. That's not bad considering you're on for only. If you stayed around another 45 minutes, you get to 50K like me, and then it'd be 3 hours. So you're on par. You did real good. Everything is good here. For those people that are still in the chat, I'm on Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific time with Trivial Pursuit. So be sure to come by for that. That's the best time of the week when we do trivia on my live. And then, of course, on Monday, I'll be back on Labor Day, laboring away with the way of positive change at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And I'm also on Wednesday at the same time. So, with that, thanks a lot, Yoda. I hope you have a good rest of your evening. And
Sure.
I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. Same time, same place, same station.
Yes, absolutely. Good night. All right, folks. I have to say, I definitely was in a different headspace when I started, and it was definitely more emotionally charged and more intense and, quite frankly, more negative. And what I will never take for granted is the fact that you allow me to come up here and you join me in these discussions that can be difficult at times. And you give me great feedback. The panel is always on point, and the people making comments, all of it contributes. Hey, what's up, High Level Intellect? Good to see you. And thank you for the heart me. And folks, as much as I encourage you to go see Danny's live, High Level Intellect does a great live. He's on the West Coast. So for the East Coasters, it's definitely late. He starts basically at 2 a.m. But if you're up that late, it's a really, really good live. A very thought-provoking conversations, and I've been on a few at this point, and it's always good stuff. And uh, for myself, just having an outlet. I live alone, although I'm never lonely. But having this connection online is meaningful to me. Hearing other voices, sharing other thoughts, laughing with you, being frustrated with you, sharing your concerns, sharing your triumphs. We're a little family, and it's a beautiful thing. And maybe we're slightly dysfunctional, and that's okay too. But, you know, we mean well. That's the important thing. And the kind of support that I've gotten from our little gang has been fantastic. And, I know that I'm better off because of it. So, with all that, I'm going to bid you good night. And as always, peace, love, and granola. Talk to you soon.